Hello everyone, my name is Mike. This is TheBoredCyborg. I don't have a clever intro. I swear. For real, I don't have one. I'm bereft. Welcome back to yet another episode of What's in the Bag, which is my version of the movie collection update where I go over the VHS, DVDs, Blu-rays, 4Ks, comics, video games, all that kind of stuff that I've picked up over the last, I don't know, and we're going to jump right in. But before we do that, I'd love to know what you guys have picked up over the last couple months or couple weeks or couple days. Feel free to leave it down in the comments below. We'll get a little discussion. Roll now for the stack of stuff. We're going to start with a VHS. There's some semblance today. Doesn't make much sense, but it's a semblance nonetheless. VHS of Hotline. This is a Linda Carter horror thriller kind of movie that I didn't know existed. This is a TV movie from... no clue, but it's a film that never made it to DVD, and it stars Linda Carter, Wonder Woman, and it's a thriller, horror, kind of genre thing, maybe, so I had to pick it up. Hotline, you know how I am with VHS, guys. I only really pick them up if it's something that I'm very passionate about, like Die Hard, or if it's something that never made it to DVD, Blu-ray, or 4K. Maybe it's on streaming, sometimes not. I'd be surprised if a film like this was. So that's the preservationist in me. At some point I will check this out once I bust out the old VHS player. Next up we have a lone 4K that came into the store. Very excited to find this, but it took me off guard because I didn't recognize the cover. I've never seen that cover. It must be newly commissioned. This, folks, is my favorite Christopher Nolan film. I love Christopher Nolan's films, the majority of them, I would say, and this is his masterpiece in my honest opinion. I think it is subtle. I think it deals with heavy concepts of time, which Nolan loves to do, of course. It blends science, like Tesla is in this. David Bowie plays Tesla. So much intrigue, so much mystery, and the twist in this is killer. The acting is fantastic. Hugh Jackman is on point. Michael Caine, Christian Bale, probably the best he's ever been. This is such a dark, twisted fantasy, science fiction fable. It's so good, guys. I love it. The Prestige, I watch over and over. It's fantastic. Glad to own this on the 4K. What is it? 4K Ultra and Blu-ray on this one. That's why I picked it up, so that, you know, if I want to watch it, I have a Blu-ray player, I can watch it. I don't have a 4K quite yet. Next up, I got this one from my buddy John a long time ago. I'm going to ask you guys something, and let me know what you think in the comments. I have a box of stuff that is backlog stuff that I've collected over the last 6 months to a year, that I'm slowly going through in these What's in the Bag videos. Would you guys like, so that I could catch up and be more legit about it, would you guys like me to just do a What's in the Bag where I show you the entire box? I mean, it would be like an hour long and I could go through them, but let me know if you'd like to see something like that. If not, I'm just going to keep chipping away at the pile that's ever growing. Either way, my buddy John traded this in at the bookstore, I want to say over the summer. Last summer, and Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. I actually was really surprised with the Jay and Silent Bob Reboot from, 2019? I was skeptical, of course, but I enjoyed it. It brought back a lot of good memories, nostalgia. Kevin Smith is very aware of what he's making here. The guys did great. Jason Mewes absolutely steals the show. I think he's fantastic. Doesn't miss a beat. It's got some really funny moments. Not as classic as the original for me. I love the original, one of my favorite comedies. But this one I really did enjoy. And Kevin Smith, it seemed like he was back at least for a little while with Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. Oh yeah. Next up is a Dwight H. Little film called Rapid Fire. Rapid Fire is one of the most underrated action films of the 90s, starring Brandon Lee, the late, great Brandon Lee, son of Bruce. This is his best movie. This is his best action movie. Crow is phenomenal as well. But in terms of action, Rapid Fire has it beat. Overall, I'd probably give it to The Crow. Its atmosphere, its direction, I love that movie. The music. But Rapid Fire is just a balls to the wall, no shit, no holds barred action movie with insane gunfights, fisticuffs, martial arts. It's got it all. It is a great action movie from 1990? 92. I'm so glad I got this Twilight Time release. I sold off 2 of my DVDs and upgraded to the Blu-ray. Can't wait to check this out. It is so awesome. Next up, I got at a little thrift shop that opened up in my area. Bumblebee. I got this for like $2 or $3, I want to say. Maybe $2.50. I think that was the deal. But Bumblebee is the Transformers film that I really am excited and curious to see. I've heard such great things. I've heard it's heartfelt, great CG, great story. I hear this has it all, and it's directed by Travis Knight, who is the stop motion animator and director who did things like Paranorman and Coraline, or at least he did the stop motion work for Coraline. He didn't direct it. Henry Selick did. But he's done a bunch of his own movies, Kubo and the Two Strings, so I'm looking forward to checking out his live-action debut, I want to say. Bumblebee. Ooh, a Scream Factory release here. My Bloody Valentine. My Bloody Valentine I owned on DVD and Blu-ray, the Canadian Blu-ray that was out of print. It fetched a bit. I upgraded to this months and months back. My Bloody Valentine, a solid holiday slasher. A really good holiday slasher, I'll say, that has a great iconic killer, a great final 20 minutes, final sequence, solid kills. This is a Canadian slasher through and through. It is awesome. My Bloody Valentine, much better than the remake, of course. So I love this movie. Looking forward to watching it again. Scream Factory, thank you. Replacements. I actually sold off my DVD, which was actually fetching. It was sealed, granted, but I got like $7 for it. Bought this for around $9 or something like that. So not bad. This is a film I've been wanting to revisit. A sports comedy with Keanu Reeves that I remember really enjoying. A good cast, Rhys Ifans, Gene Hackman, people like that. So looking forward to giving The Replacements another shot. Days of Thunder. I hear this is Top Gun on the racetrack, and I've not seen Top Gun yet, so I don't know what that means. I mean, I do. Culturally, I get it. I know what it means. But Days of Thunder, Tony Scott comes back with Tom Cruise to direct this racing car action drama. And yeah, it's Tony Scott and it's frickin' Tom Cruise, and I love both of them. So Days of Thunder. Now we're on to the DVDs, of which I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have Amongst Friends. This is a weird one, man. I've never even heard of it. Rob Weiss. This film came out in the early 90s, I want to say. It doesn't say on the back, but I remember looking it up. I want to say mid-90s. This is just a crime film that follows a group of friends, and it's got some action, apparently. I don't know much about this, but it's a gangster action kind of thing from the 90s that I never heard of. So I had to pick this up. Either way, that is Amongst Friends. This one's weird. One of those weird sort of cheap slim cases. Jesus, one of those cheap slim cases. Spider-Woman Death's Web. I think this is a Thai film, or I don't exactly know, guys. This is dubbed over in English, but I believe it's like a Thai horror film or something. I have no idea. I picked this up at Goodwill, one of the trips I wasn't filming. That does happen sometimes. But yeah, have you guys seen Spider-Woman Death's Web? It's a foreign horror film, so I picked it up. I know nothing about it, though. Born in East LA, this is a Cheech Marin film, Cheech Marin comedy from the late 80s that deals with immigration, so I'm sure it's still timely to this day. And Cheech Marin is an American, apparently, who's caught... What is it? Cheech Marin writes, directs, and stars. Wow. A hip, outrageous comedy that's based on his best-selling record parody follows Rudy, an American of Hispanic descent whose south-of-the-border looks show him no mercy during an immigration raid in a migrant worker factory. So yes, this still probably resonates today in terms of themes. Cheech Marin acted, directed, writes it. I gotta check this out. I like Cheech Marin enough as the next guy, so we'll give it a whirl at some point. Next up, I got at the flea market a couple weeks ago, I want to say, and didn't get it on camera. Blackboard Jungle. One of the guys at the flea market, he's an older cat from New York who watches a lot of films from the 50s and 60s, and then he sort of sells them at his booth. And I picked this up from him, and I'm really looking forward to it. He said it was great. It's based on a novel from the 50s that was sort of commenting on the violence in schools, inner city schools, things like that. So Blackboard Jungle, I'm looking forward to this one. Glenn Ford, I don't know much about it, but I know it's going to tackle racial issues and a lot of things like that. So really looking forward to Blackboard Jungle. And last but not least, another flea market pickup that I didn't get on camera for whatever reason. And this is Virus. This is Kinji Fukusaka, is that right? Fukusaku. Kinji Fukusaku, who directed Battle Royale like 20 years later, would direct this film Virus from 1980. And I don't know much about this, guys. I gotta be completely honest, but it deals with a virus that sort of wipes out humanity. The entire world is a graveyard. 863 people were not so lucky. They survived. So that sounds great, and it's an American-Japanese co-production. Chuck Connors, Glenn Ford, Maso Kennedy, George Kennedy, Edward James Olmos, Olivia Hussey. So it's got mostly American cast there. I'm sure there are some Japanese cast as well that they're not mentioning. But this one's not so easy to find, and I was happy to pick this up. That is Virus, the director's cut. Have you guys seen this? Let me know. I just want to thank you all for checking out this episode of What's in the Bag. I'd love to know what you've picked up over the last couple days or couple weeks, whatever it may be. Feel free to leave that down in the comments below. We'll get a little discussion result. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel and want to see more like it, go ahead and hit the subscribe button as well as the little bell for notifications. I have a Patreon and t-shirts. Feel free to check those out if you so please. Guys, anyway, next time until out, Bored Cyborg.